That's BABBEL.
Are you ready to embark on a journey towards taking control of your health and well-being? I'm Candy Broppel, host of Green Tea Conversations. Join me every Sunday at 10 a.m. as I sit down with the local experts who are bridging the gap between mainstream medicine and complementary therapies. Each week, we explore topics in integrative medicine, nutrition, fitness, creative expression, personal growth, and sustainable living. So grab a cup of tea and join the conversation as we awaken to natural health. Visit us at naturaltwincities.com.
The Mary T family of companies serves seniors and people with a wide range of disabilities. We provide home health care, hospice services, and accessible rental housing. This is Mary T, and we'd like you to join us. We're hiring direct care professionals, CNAs, nurses, and other support services. Our mission is to provide quality, personalized services to meet the unique and evolving needs of the people that we serve. Join a Minnesota family-owned company that was founded on a history of care. Apply today at marytinc.com/careers.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Seward Co-op is now offering convenient self-serve and prepackaged hot options and salad bars at both the Franklin and Friendship stores. Breakfast items available daily until 11 a.m. and brunch served all day every Sunday. Their weekly lunch and dinner menus highlight cuisines from around the world. They offer vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free options daily. 95% of the ingredients used are organic from small-scale, local community food producers whenever possible. More at seward.coop.
Hi, I'm Kelly Kirk.
I'm Chad Larson.
And I'm Joe Kirk.
Your hosts for Searching for Service. Tune in to Rotary's influential show and podcast, sharing touching stories of service locally and abroad.
We bring you weekly guests that connect, inform, and inspire our listeners on all things service.
We highlight diverse service opportunities that appeal to both Rotarians and people driven to serve in their communities.
Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. or anytime via podcast. It's time
to stop searching
and start serving.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 62, then a chance of showers and thunderstorms on Saturday with a high of 86. Fill the hot summer nights with the hottest music in the Twin Cities at Crooner's Supper Club in Fridley. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65. View their schedules and food menus at croonersloungemn.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. We discuss local and national Native news and events, and as you know, Haley, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
You're right, Jaga. This portion of the show is supported by the Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Yes, they do. Hey, we got a jam-packed show today. We got State Representative Jessica Hanson on. We got later on in the show, we have State Senator Mary Kunesh, and along with Wendy Pilot with our Sacred Animal section. And she sent us an awesome clip from New York. Hey, I just want to start off here with welcoming State Representative Jessica Hanson. Got a lot to talk about in this quick, short segment. Welcome to Native Roots Radio.
Hi, Robert. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Right on. So, hey, I visited you at the state capitol, saw the big stack of bills and things you were working on. But this one that we're going to be talking about a little bit and what's going to be happening here in August is one that you've been working on for day one. Do you want to just fill our audience in and then talk about the celebration that we're about to have?
Yes. So I have been a cannabis advocate and activist for, I think, 6 coming up on 7 years now. And this was before it was really being talked about by either of our mainstream two major parties, right? And we wanted to make sure that the people's voice of Minnesota was heard. And so we organized. We were a very multi-partisan, multiracial group that came together to build the program that we wanted to see here in Minnesota. We have successfully built what I consider, and a lot of people consider, to be the best model for full legalization in the nation. And that's something we should be really proud of here in Minnesota. We have home growing starting on August 1st this year. Also, there is legal possession allowed as of August 1st this year. So you can have 2 ounces on your person in public. If you're in your car, it needs to be in your trunk, but up to 2 ounces is allowed to be held in public. And then at home, up to 2 pounds per adult. And so this is home growing product most of the time when folks have that much at home. And you are allowed to have that and see how your botanical green thumb does if you're able to grow at home. There's a lot of great groups, Facebook groups, and other social groups that are forming around how to get started on that if you're interested in that. So I encourage folks to check that out. There's also some resources available at the Minnesota Cannabis College. They're offering some summer school courses about Cannabis Business 101, Growing 101, and some other really great things. And the big thing I wanted to tell you about, I was on a few weeks back and told you that there was going to be a big celebration, and I didn't have all the details, but now I do. So on Tuesday, August 1st, from 5 to 11 p.m., we are going to be having this event at First Avenue. And this is to celebrate the work that we did to legalize cannabis in Minnesota. So go to their website. You can buy tickets. They're very, very affordable. And if you can't afford one, just reach out to me and let me know, and we will make sure that you can make it. So it's between $5 and $10 for the tickets. There will be a whole line of music. So you can see on the flyer here some of the folks who will be joining us, including DJ Espada and Maria Isa Perez Vega will be there as well. And so we have a really jam-packed show. There will be a talking portion of the program, about 30 minutes from about 6 to 6:30, somewhere in there, we're thinking. And so we encourage folks, if you'd like to hear from some of the people who worked on this and some of the staff who supported us, that's what we'll be doing. But I've been waiting all year for this event, so to say I'm excited is an understatement, but I really hope everyone can join us. There are plenty of tickets left and plenty of space. There's vendors. You can get to know some really great people too.
Well, I got to give you a big congratulations too, because I know you've been on the show in the past and we've talked in the past. And I know, like, the last cycle and even the cycle before, election cycle, it seemed like the Republicans were trying to get some fake legalized pot people to disrupt elections. And it's good to know that this has been a Democratic, and along with you, Jessica, force to move ahead. And I'm glad that we have done this in a good way. And this is a medicine for a lot of people out there, and it's not just a recreational kind of thing. There's people, we've heard so many stories over and over again, Jessica, about how this has helped people through things from like chemo and so on.
Yeah, and one of the reasons we wanted to make sure that we were a home growing state is because plant medicine is medicine for so many people. And we wanted to make sure that we protected that, because sometimes the way that this plant is grown is not in line with what people are looking to use it for when they're using it for plant medicine. And so when you can grow at home, you can really grow that plant in the way that you need to and you want to, and that's right for you. And, some people want to grow up for that reason at home. Other people don't want to participate in a taxed market, right? And so this allows you to also participate outside of that and grow it yourself too. And we want to make sure that we're continuing to protect plant medicine. I know there was some news that came out today in Minneapolis, which I think some people are really excited about, but I am looking forward to making sure that we continue those conversations in a more multicultural way and in a way that includes everybody at the table, because decisions like that are made without the people who have been most affected, or the people who have been nurturing and caring for this plant for longest, really should be at the table. So I'm looking forward to seeing more voices, we'll put it, at the table as this conversation keeps going forward. I was a bit disappointed to see how that kind of rolled out, but it's never too late to do the right thing. So I'm hoping that we can get that going.
Yeah, and I got to just back up a little bit too. Now, at one time I heard it was 250 pages, the bill, but there's an extensive extensive research and things in this bill. It isn't just a milly, or is that how you say that? Milly lily, or and just thrown together. There's been a lot of research, right?
Yeah, we studied the models in the other legal states to see what they did wrong, what they did right, what did we want to incorporate, what did we not want to incorporate. This movement from the beginning has been founded in justice, making sure that we are righting the wrongs of our past and also setting up the future for a reparative future. And what does that mean and what does that look like? So things like our Can Renew Fund is a fund that I encourage nonprofits and people doing community work to improve social determinants of health, that they look to this, because there will be grants available there to continue to help recover and heal in some of the communities that have been most harmed. We have other grant programs all over Minnesota, but this is specifically a brand new one that the Office of Cannabis Management will be have under their umbrella and will be managing. And so this is the most exciting part for me, at least, is that we have successfully built this on a platform that we were told we would never get it on. So I think that's probably one of the biggest pieces.
That's awesome, Jessica. You're a doer and always have been, and I appreciate what else you got. Well, before I ask you that, because we only got like a minute and a half left, let everybody know again about August 1st one more time, and then I'll jibber jabber with you for the last 30 seconds.
Yes, so Tuesday, August 1st at First Avenue from 5 to 11 p.m. We will be having the Legalized It event with a number of different DJs and musical performers. You don't want to miss this. There will be a surprise musical performer and possibly a few guest appearances from folks that you may want to see. So make sure you get your tickets. They're affordable, available on the First Avenue's website. If you just type in Legalized It First Avenue in Google, it will bring up as the first link.
I really like that tease. Oh, that was a good one. Hey, you're a doer. So what else is up next here when the session resumes next year? What else you got cooking?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little early to tell, but we want to continue to make sure that Minnesota is the best place to live, work, and raise a family. We want to continue to make sure that our kids are safest at school and make sure that they are being given a world that we can be proud to leave for them, and continue to build the world for their grandchildren and everybody thereafter. We do have to remember that the elections are going to be next year, and we are on the precipice of being able to really secure a just and equitable future, because every vote counts and every vote matters. So I hope whoever's thought about going up for office or running for office, consider this the first time you've been asked. Think about it, look into it, get involved in a local campaign early, and those are the first steps we can start taking.
Wow. Thank you, State Representative Jessica Hanson. Up next, State Senator Mary Kunesh. Thanks, State Representative. Awesome segment. We'll see you, and congratulations, and we'll see you, if not before, on the 1st. We'll be right back after this short message.
Hey, Olgama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
We are your relatives.
We are your relations.
Brothers,
sisters,
sons,
daughters.
And some of us are your grandchildren.
We are your community. Historically, we held places of honor and respect. Because of the impact of colonization, some of us are rejected, thrown out from family, friends, and community, set up as targets for sexual violence, sex trafficked, humiliated, tortured, and murdered. Everybody has the right to be safe. We are your relatives. Remember,
homophobia is not traditional.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. Over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. This is Spirit from Reservation Dogs. Get up and listen.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Minnesota 350, a grassroots organization fighting for climate justice.
Yes, they do, and we've been happy to have them support us over the years, and it's just an excellent organization. Wow. So, Haley, are you excited for August 1st? I know you know friends that, partake and whatnot. Oh,
My friends, yes. I think everyone is very excited who partakes in this activity. Yeah, I did not know about the First Avenue event. So on the little commercial break, I'm over here looking it up on their website, but it looks to be pretty fun. So August 1st, that will be on a Tuesday.
Oh.
So, yes. Just a little reminder about that in case, well, I guess, you don't really get hangovers, I guess. So people don't have to worry about it the next day.
Right, exactly. Hey, we got State Senator Mary Kunesh on. Let's welcome her. Great to see you, State Senator. We just had State Representative Jessica Hanson on talking about the big First Avenue party that's going to be happening August 1st in regards to the legalization of marijuana in Minnesota. So good to have you on, and always good to see you, and welcome to Native Roots Radio.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, that celebration for the legalization or for that recreation of marijuana is it's going to be a big one, and I think it's going to be celebrated across the state as well. I was at a conference this week, and there was a other legislator from Washington State, and he was talking about the incredible bill, the legislation that passed here in Minnesota, and what a great job that we did at the legislature. But we'd been working on that for 7 years. The 7 years I've been in the legislature, we have been working on fine-tuning and putting together the best, most safe, most equitable legislation that could be possible. And that entailed going out into Minnesota, into a lot of communities, and talking to folks about what are their thoughts on it. And so it really was developed through the people of Minnesota. But I think that at the end of the day, it was an exceptional bill.
Yeah, and that's what State Representative Hanson was saying too. That it's probably the best bill in the country. And I know you and I have talked about this. At I don't remember, but it was like 250-page long. I mean, it was something like that, right?
Yeah, it was. It was very comprehensive. Let's put it that way. It had. We looked under every rock. We addressed every issue possible. We looked at what worked in the other states that had already legalized it, what didn't work, and really tried to do it the best way right off the bat. And that bill had to go through almost every single committee in the state legislature.
Wow.
If there was a education part of it, they wanted education to look at it. If it was, economic development, judiciary, I mean, like every committee, taxes. And so it was heard, I bet over 20 times in this last session alone. And a lot of questions were posed, and not everybody agreed with going ahead with this. But at the end of the day, I think that Minnesotans were ready for it.
Wow. Do you, that makes me think of a question. Do you know of any other bill since you've been either a representative or state senator that's had that much scrutiny? So that sounds like a lot of over 20 hearings or different.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of any quite to that extent. Um, and when when you think about it, it's going to affect everything. It's going to have its fingerprint on everything in our state, in our communities. When you look at, I said, education,
Right.
healthcare, policing, taxes, because there will be taxes charged on these on the cannabis. And then economic development was such an important part of it. And I'm really glad to say that the authors of the bill and the legislators that worked so hard on it for all of these years, wanted to make sure that it was the communities, the business people that have been left out for so long, got the first bite of the apple, right? And I think just the other week we heard that Red Lake, they're ready to they voted to legalize their recreational marijuana and begin selling it, both tribal and non-tribal members, starting August 1st. And that's going to be a huge economic boon to so many of the tribes and the disenfranchised. So I'm curious myself, and I'll be watching all of this to see how it plays out.
So do they have to have a compact with the state in order to do that, or or are they just selling it on their sovereign land?
Well, I believe they have had to have that agreement and understanding with the state, and I think they would have been able to launch their program a lot earlier if it had, because if I'm not mistaken, they have been also producing medical marijuana, but they weren't able to transport it. And so that was the big hang up. And because the law doesn't go into effect till August 1st, they had to wait for that. So they're ready to go, and they're hoping that not only will they be able to have some economic investment in their community, but they're hoping that it'll work to help against the opioid epidemic. And a lot of the money that is going to be gleaned from this is going to go towards substance abuse prevention and rehabilitation of those sort of things.
Wow, that's brilliant. That is brilliant, and that's a thing I guess tribes all over the country should look at too, because we have friends all over the country, and I think the only way to really make a lot of money is going from seed to dispensary. And I think, like you said, they've been doing medical marijuana, so now they're ready to go, and that's exciting to hear.
Yeah. And, they have, they've been under scrutiny. And so the marijuana that the tribes cultivate already, have that high quality of standard, and it's safe. For a long time, marijuana has been coming from who knows where, and it's being laced with all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Well, we know that this is safe to use, and the fact that and as you mentioned, I do believe there was compact that was negotiated with our state administrator, that there's going to be a lot of oversight, especially in the beginning, because we want to make sure that harm is not done.
Well, that's a really good point that I forgot and didn't think of, is that, we've been hearing lately too, marijuana's been laced with fentanyl and killing people. So that's a super good point, because where you're getting this stuff. It isn't from, Tom, Dick, and Harry in the alley like it was when I was a kid. I heard.
or growing it out, growing it out in the backyard or whatever.
That
Yeah,
was
and
that
I
was
think that's going
Minnesota
to make
theme.
I think that's going to make a big difference. The fact that we will now be able to track and trace any of the really harmful chemicals that might be put into marijuana going down the road, and hopefully avoid some of these really harmful issues and the addictions.
Wow, yeah. And I know, a lot of people, and we talked a little bit to State Representative Hanson, that a lot of people have to use this for medicine. We've heard so many times that our relatives have gone through chemo or things that can't sleep or eat, and it's really helped.
Yeah, there are a lot of medicinal reasons for marijuana. Pain relief, one. So when we did go around Minnesota, I went on a bunch of those little road trips to listen. And I think I've mentioned this before. It wasn't the young kids that were, the 20-year-olds coming out and saying, "Yeah, man, make it legal." It was a lot of veterans. And it was a lot of elderly folks, the veterans that struggle with PTSD. Marijuana, and especially good quality marijuana, really has made a difference. Depression, it addresses that. And then, of course, chronic pain. So I think that we will see the benefits of legalizing marijuana, but in a good way.
Right on. Hey, we got State Senator Mary Kunesh for another segment. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
Stay with us.
Hey, this is Robert Pilot. I taught in St. Paul Public Schools for over 25 years, and I want you to join the team and make a difference in our children's future. Right now, St. Paul Public Schools is offering hiring and retention bonuses up to $10,000 for a variety of teaching and classroom support positions for the next school year. Grow in a supportive and fulfilling public school setting. Limited bonuses are available, so don't delay. Apply at spps.org/careers.
J&S Bean Factory is a Native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
You hear a lot about Rudy Luther Toyota's hybrid cars, but maybe you're asking yourself, are they worth it? Let me say from experience, absolutely. I have a Toyota Sienna hybrid, and the proof is in the gas tank. Before my hybrid, I was filling up my tank once a week. Now it's consistently every 2 weeks. I did the math, and my hybrid is saving me over $1,000 every year. And the Toyota hybrids are some of the most stylish and comfortable vehicles you'll ever drive. Now's the time to get a Toyota hybrid. Set up a time to test drive one today at Rudy Luther Toyota, the southeast corner of 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
July is the annual store-wide sale at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Come see our diverse selection of wood, gas, or electric fireplace products for indoor and outdoor living. And right now, Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces can assure you the best price of the season on every product in the store. Let Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces help you choose and experience the joy of sitting by a fire.
Summer is a great time to install your fireplace. You can find your perfect fireplace and have it installed and ready before the cold weather hits again. If you already have a wood fireplace, consider a fireplace insert. Come and see the entire selection at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces on East Franklin and Riverside in Minneapolis. They will create a fireplace that works for you. Efficient, clean burning, and environmentally smart.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, since 1977, out of the ordinary products and services to make fire work for you.
Hey AM 950 listeners, my name is JP Darbragosian, and I'm the host of This Queer Book, Save My Life, the show where LGBTQ guests share the queer books that saved their lives in conversation with the authors who wrote them. This Sunday, it's a crossover episode with the delightfully queer pop culture podcast, The Sewers of Paris with Matt Baum. I hope you queer folks and allies can join us as we find connection in this mysterious and beautiful queer world of ours. See you every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Rachel Shamblat. My dad is Dr. Scott Shamblat from Shamblat Family Dentistry. A lot of people are afraid of the dentist, but you don't have to be. My dad makes going to the dentist comfortable and even fun. He won't be mad if you haven't seen a dentist in a long time. He just wants to take care of you and your teeth. If you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
Shamblat Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblatfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 62, then a chance of showers and thunderstorms on Saturday with a high of 86. Fill the hot summer nights with the hottest music in the Twin Cities at Crooner's Supper Club in Fridley. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65. View their schedules and food menus at croonersloungemn.com.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, we're here with State Senator Mary Kunesh, and we were talking a little bit. I want to finish up on our discussion about marijuana here in Red Lake. And Haley has a question, State Senator.
Yes. So I was talking, Arvina Martin from Emerge Wisconsin was hosting this past Tuesday, and we were talking about this also. But with Red Lake, how does that, does the res, do they have like a plan to protect the community and the children with so many people coming on the reservation to purchase this? Or do you think there's going to be that much foot traffic for that?
I would imagine that there would be more traffic, especially, let's say, during the summertime when folks are up at their cabins and that sort of thing. That's a really good question. I haven't really asked about that, but I'm going to think that was part of their plan, and that the dispensaries will be, in locations that are going to hopefully not have a negative impact on the communities. Might need more people on the reservations, but Red Lake has always been really careful about monitoring who's on the land and what's going on. And so I would imagine that this would just make them step it up a little bit.
Would they have a dispensary in the cities, or does it have to stay in Red Lake?
No,
I'm a little confused.
Yeah, I think they can do off reservation. I was going to say campus, but off reservation as well. So yes, they could have them in a couple of different places, depending where they find it to be the best location. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to get Red Lake on and ask them, and we'll have.
Yeah. Red Lake is so big. I suppose they could even just put it around the perimeters and be able to, supply the needs that folks are asking. But yeah, when you think about it, marijuana is a historic plant. It's been around forever. And of course, been used for so many different ways by our ancestors. And it wasn't until, again, the white people come around and say, "Ooh, this is mind altering, so we have to shut it down." But I think it's just really important that we acknowledge the fact that the right of our tribal governments to regulate their own cannabis industries. And it's going to, I think it'll help in so many ways for our tribes, especially in Indian country. Yep.
Well, and casinos can only do so much, and there's so much saturation. So, it's good for them to work on their development. And the one of the producers, I can't remember who's working today at the mothership, but he said that he heard that Red Lake was looking at opening dispensaries in Warwood and Thief River Falls too. So that's kind of around the perimeter, as you were saying, State Senator.
Yeah. Yeah, those are still on the reservation. Yep.
So, hey, I always gotta, we were on vacation, Wendy and I, and she's still in New York right now for another week or so, and we kind of had our honeymoon again because it was our anniversary a couple weeks ago, and she always tells me, and I mentioned this yesterday too to our one of our guests, is that ask Mary what she wants to talk about. So, Mary, the floor is yours. What would you like to talk about? We were just like interested seeing that Jessica was on, what you had to say about the marijuana being legalized here and whatnot.
Yeah. What do I want to talk about? Gosh, I'm really excited. I had a meeting yesterday with a handful of people and executive director of the MMIR office, Juliet Rudy, around the license plate, the MMIR license plate. That I think should be out by the, at the beginning of the year. It'll be ready for, let me look if I have in my notes January 1st, those plates should be available. And we're working on the design of the plate. Of course, we want it to be clear what the message is, but also, be symbolic. So, and for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, I passed legislation this year to create a specialty license plate here in Minnesota to recognize the missing and murdered Indigenous relatives movement. And so that passed this session. I know that our many lawmakers do not like all these specialty license plates out there, but this one was really important, and it was a no-brainer, should we say?
Right.
But so people pay a fee for your license plates, right? And a good chunk of that fee is going to go into the missing and murdered Indigenous relatives permanent office. And we also established a reward fund within the office. And my hope with the reward fund would be to help the office work on cold cases, to offer rewards for information, and do the work that, the investigatory work and the work that they need to do. So the license plate, those dollars will actually go back into that office and hopefully help sustain that office. It's, one of my biggest fears is that it would go away, even though I've been told time and time again, it's not going anywhere. You just never know when the majority or the power changes, oftentimes things are kind of pushed aside. So those two pieces of legislation I'm really, really excited about. Yesterday was the last day for folks to apply for, to be on the commission to decide on our new state flag and state emblem. So that was on the Secretary of State's page, and we went through and noticed that there were some groups were kind of thin in the number of applicants. So we put out word to a bunch of different unique groups, and I think at the end of the day, there's quite a strong interest in being part of that. So we wanted somebody from, of course, the American Indian community, the Latinx community, the African American, all of our groups, but also the general public. And I took a look through and at all the names. There were a lot of people that applied to be on that committee. So we should have that done. By this time next year.
Nobody asked me. They would probably, know that I want just to say land back on it, right?
I could have sworn I sent you a text to say, "Hey, we need people," but that might have been up here and not on my fingertips. But this time next year, we'll have a new emblem and a new flag to be wailing around. So those are some of the exciting things that we've been doing here in Indian country. I don't know if Representative Hanson told you, but a few weeks ago at the White Earth no, I think it was White Earth, powwow. They invited all of us legislators up to the powwow and recognized us up there. And it was the first time that all of us had gotten together in one place, like one powwow. Usually one of us is here, or two of us is there, but the lieutenant governor was there, and we 4 legislators were there. Representative Hanson came up to support, and it was just really a moving experience. And so again, thank you for inviting us up there and acknowledging us. But it's still powwow season.
Yeah, you got a nice blanket too. I saw that. I like that picture.
Oh my gosh, yes. They gave us all, they gifted us all a star quilt, which is, I know. It was really moving. It was very moving. I was not expecting that at all. But it was good to be up there and to see the people that I knew and meet a lot of new people and, acknowledge the good work that we're all doing at the legislature. I'm always in awe. Especially the last few years, how many of our Native folks and leaders are showing up at the legislature and, talking about the issues that are really important to them, but also just to be there and to be listening at the different committees and staying up to date on what's happening. I think, for generation after generation, there wasn't that kind of connection with the tribes. In fact, they probably were not welcome and given the evil eye if they showed up, certainly not encouraged to be a part of it, let alone all these compacts and agreements. And so it's just been really encouraging these last couple of years to see that our tribal community feels like that's now their place to be. They have the right to be there and are happy to speak.
And we all know why. We have representation. We have you. We have 3 other lawmakers and a lieutenant governor. We are people are jealous of all the great work that Minnesota's been doing, but also in Indian country, it's well known. We're very well situated, and you all talk about it's a place where we're normally not welcomed, and we are welcomed because you guys are there.
Yeah, and it's, we've just been able to educate legislators and staff members and the public on so many of the issues that plague our communities. I mean, sometimes they're just little issues like letting kids who are graduating wear an eagle feather on their graduation cap. We had to legislate that. Allowing students to wear their sacred tobacco in their tobacco pouches, you under their shirt. That was not allowed, hampering tobacco on campus. And I think the growing awareness and acceptance of religious and spiritual practices is really blooming across the world. And just as, we have made it available for places for our Muslim folks to go and pray during the day, now our students can smudge during the day if the school can put something together. So big changes, good changes.
Right on. And I got to say thank you for serving and being on our show. It's always great listening to what you have to say. We'll see you next week. This is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. Up next, Wendy Pilot with our Sacred Animals section. Ho-wah.
See ya.
I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Your neighbors are talking about the Blue Line extension, connecting North Minneapolis, Crystal, Robbinsdale, and Brooklyn Park to the light rail transit system.
I feel like a lot of times people, when they think about transit, it's like, well, it's a bus, it's a train, it's whatever. But it really isn't. It's a lifeline for many communities, and it feels like something that we really need here.
Hear more of this story and others at yourblueline.org.
The Powderhorn Art Fair is returning to Powderhorn Park to celebrate its 32nd anniversary, August 5th and 6th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day. The fair will feature a vibrant and diverse selection of art from over 150 exhibiting artists from across the country. Whether you're just starting an art collection or a seasoned buyer, they'll have the perfect piece for you. Plus, there's more. Immersive art installations offer fairgoers a chance to explore interactive experiences that transport them into an artist's vision. In addition to all the fantastic art, over a dozen food vendors serving up sweet and savory delights will be ready for you and other hungry fairgoers. A family zone will offer creative activities for kids of all ages and entertainment each day. The fair and activities are free to attendees. Make plans to head to Powderhorn Park on August 5th and 6th. Learn more at powderhornartfair.com.
This is Leonard Peltier. I am in Coleman 1, U.S. Penitentiary, and I'm listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
You know, I never hear our dogs howl. You know, our chihuahuas howled all the time. Mickey and Poncho howled. All we'd have to do is start howling, and they'd howl along with us. But Wanda don't howl. She don't play.
Sadie doesn't either.
That's crazy. It must be a McKee thing. Oh, hey. So I want to introduce my awesome and beautiful wife, Wendy. Wendy has sent us a segment from New York, and I can't wait to hear it. It's Fun Facts Friday with Wendy Pilot.
Hey, everybody. My name is Hanaji Hihani. Thank you, Robert. That means cares for them, and I was given that name by my Dega Curtis. Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajinga, which means walks on white clouds. I'm a humane policy volunteer leader for the Humane Society of the United States, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level, and it's always my pleasure to do that. And today is Friday, so we're going to be talking about some animal facts. Some are fun facts and some are serious facts. So let's start off with a fun fact. And I think I talked about this on the show once before, but it's really funny. I came across it again in my reading online. But here's a fun fact. A puffer fish. Puffer fish is a fish that goes around, lives in the ocean. But when it's attacked or instigated, it puffs up like a ball. And what it does, it releases toxins to scare off and to poison other predators. But here's the really funny thing is, dolphins are not affected in that same way. It actually gets them high. So the toxin that the pufferfish releases, the dolphins get high. And so dolphins have been known to purposely inflate the pufferfish and pass them around to their dolphin friends for fun and to get high. And I think that's a really funny fact. I'd like to see that in person. It's getting really hot, and we're having hot heat waves all over the United States. Up in the Midwest here next week, we're going to be in the upper 90s, and it's really going to be hot and humid. So I came across a couple of articles here on signs of a heat stroke, and this is for your dog. So heavy panting, lack of coordination, difficulty breathing, vomiting, profuse salivation, heat thirst, or excessive thirst, lethargy, and fever. So those are all the signs of a heat stroke for your dog. But I also read something else, and I didn't know this. So if you have an overheated dog that is showing any of those signs, the first instinct I would say for me would be to get some cold water and throw it over your dog and put wet towels all over their back. But if you do that, you will see the opposite effect. Due to the cold, the veins contract, and due to the high temperatures, it says here above 42 degrees, so that's Celsius. That would be over 107 degrees Fahrenheit. The proteins in the blood clot, which makes the blood thick and viscous. Due to the combination of the two, the heat can no longer, the heart can no longer get the blood, and the organs fail one by one due to lack of oxygen. The result is a very slow but painful death. So if you try to help an overheated dog, this is the way to do it. First, give lukewarm water to drink. Then cool the soles of the feet and chest and lower abdomen with a wet, damp towel. Then put the dog in the shade on the damp towel. So this is really important information if you have a dog. You know, Robert, we're out and about walking in these hot days, and I see people still running with their dogs on hot blacktop, and it's really important not to do that in these hot temperatures. You know, a lot of people think, well, my dog, he's just running just fine. Your dog's going to follow you wherever you go. Your dog will follow you and then just drop dead. So really be careful with your dogs out there, and your cats too if they go outside. Our cat Lucy, we let her out for a little while in the backyard. Only when we're there. She's never not supervised, and she's an older cat. And just thinking about her, I'm thinking about what is her human equivalent age. So I found a chart, and it's pretty interesting. So here's a kitten. So a kitten is 0 to 6 months old. And the human equivalent is 1 year to 10 years. A kitten. Yeah, I was surprised to hear that. A junior cat is 7 months old to 2 years, and their human equivalent age is 12 years to 24 years. That's a junior cat. An adult cat is 3 years to 6 years old, and the human equivalent age is 28 to 40 years old. Okay, now we're getting into middle age here. Okay, so a mature cat is 7 to 10 years old, and the human equivalent age is 44 to 56 years old. A senior cat, which is 11 to 14 years old, their human equivalent age is 60 to 72 years old. Now, our cat Lucy is 17 years old. So she's considered a super senior. So a super senior is 15 years and beyond. So right here it says if your cat is 17 years old, their human equivalent age is 84 years old. So our little Lucy is 84 years old. Wow. She's still doing good. She's hanging in there. You know, people know that she has kidney failure. She's had kidney failure for a couple of years now, at least 2 years. Robert and I were giving her subcutaneous fluids to hydrate her and hydrate her kidneys, and that helps her kidney function. Lucy is a really smart cat, so when Robert and I would start to get the bag and the equipment and needles out that we needed to do this, she would hide and we'd have to wrap her in a towel, and she was really getting to be hard to handle. So now we bring her to the vet every week, and she gets subcutaneous fluids, but she's doing really great. She's stable. We're happy to hear that. But Lucy, who is 17 years old, human equivalent years is 84 years. So Robert, we hope to keep her healthy for a few more years. And with that, I will give it back to Robert.
Hey, Peony Gee, thanks, Wendy, so much for these fun Fact Fridays. Miss you, and I want to thank State Representative Jessica Hanson for being on, and of course, Minnesota State Senator Mary Kunesh. If you're listening to this show, you are part of the resistance. From Chief Plenty Coops, the ground on which we stand on is sacred ground. It is the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office, and vote. We're still here. We are the seventh generation.
Free Leonard Peltier. Now.
Nightingale